Hello, everybody. Welcome to another day. We want to encourage you to go share this message. Share with your friends and your family members, and go and tag the people you really care about, and and you think that this will benefit them. So we are going to be talking about leadership. We're continuing our series on leadership. The first part of the series that I did is that a leader is a ladder. Now I'm going to be talking about self leadership. Self leadership. Now, the topic of today is self leadership is your greatest leadership. Your greatest leadership is self leadership. So, what is self leadership? Self leadership is the fact that you must be able to control yourself. You must be able to be on top of your games, and you must be able to manage your own life and your own self. For us to be able to conquer the world, we have to start by conquering ourselves. For us to be able to manage the world around us, we've got to start by managing ourselves first. So, self leadership is the ability to be able to be in charge of your life. Now, what are the dangers? What are the things hampering you and standing on your way from managing yourself or from being the leader of yourself? Well, most people in this world, they are not the leaders of themselves, and the reason is because different things hamper us being the leader of ourselves. Self leadership. We don't practice self leadership, first of all, because when we were growing up, we were under the leadership of somebody else. When we were growing up, we were used to the fact that our parents did a lot of things for us. They encourage us to wake up in the morning, and if you don't wake up, you are always resting on the fact that, yeah, mommy will come and wake you up. You expect them to help you fix your room. So if your room is not fixed, well, you expect them to come and do it for you. You expect them to cook your food. You expect them to put your food on the table. You expect them to wash the plates after you. So what we have seen, and what most of us, not all of us, but most of us have experienced in our lives is the act of leadership being delegated to somebody else taking over leadership on our behalf, somebody else doing the leadership that we were supposed to be doing through self leadership. So, but let's go back to the scenario of a child, and that is being taken care of by the mother or by the father or by the parents or by the grandmother. The whole essence of your parents asking you to wake up in the morning and to go and brush your teeth is because they want to teach you self-leadership. But and self-leadership is when you attain that, and you attain the place whereby you yourself, you are able to go without anybody asking you to go. So that means now you have attained self-leadership in that regard. You now have taken the position of leadership to take responsibility for going to brush your teeth without anybody helping you out. Same when they ask you to wake up in the morning and they come and wake you up. But what they really want to achieve is not to be there to wake you up all the time, but is for you to be able to get to a place where you attain self-leadership, whereby you now wake yourself up. You know when to wake up, or you put your alarm in place and you know exactly when you need to go do what you need to go and do. But the thing that we see is that sometimes the children take advantage of the fact that mommy is always there. She will always be there to wake me up if I don't wake up. She will always be there to remind me to go brush my teeth. Or she will always be there to remind me to go wash, take my bath. And so we rely on that. Or she will always help me to take care of my clothing, or she'll help me to get my food ready. But the whole essence of parental care and parenting in general is to get you as a child to a place of self-discipline or self-leadership. Is to get you to a place of self-leadership whereby you will not need anybody's help to do those things for you, or to be behind you, supervising you or monitoring you to do exactly the same thing that you are supposed to be doing by yourself. this is one of the advantages of boarding schools or hostels or dormitories. When some of you are familiar with the idea of boarding schools, that's when children are sent to schools to live in dormitories situation, when they live there without their parents. So they have to grow up very fast, and they have to do all these things by themselves. So that helps them to attain self-leadership. And there is almost no way you will live in boarding school for 5 years or 10 years and not become self-sufficient and not become, not be able to take the responsibility for your own self. Self-leadership will come to you if you go to dormitory, because you are not living with anybody. Nobody is there to wake you up. Even if you miss your own duty or whatever you are supposed to do and you don't do it on time, somebody will go after you. I mean, one of the senior students or your prefect or your colleagues or the staff, they will be, you'll be punished for it. So that's the advantage of dormitory. But the whole idea of self-leadership is that parental care and parenting is supposed to teach us about self-leadership. It's supposed to bring us to a place whereby we are in control of our situations and life. We are in control of our circumstances. It's to bring you to a place of self-sufficiency, so that you are responsible for your actions. You know what to do. You become an independent person. It is only when you are able to attain that kind of independence and self-leadership that you'll be able to give leadership to somebody else. Okay, for example, in our own family here, we have seniorship or seniority within the children to some extent. So what we do is that our father, our daddy, that's Pastor Sunday, myself, is the head of the family. The next person in authority is my wife, Pastor Bosse. So I communicate with Pastor Bosse. Pastor Bosse does, the implementation with the children. But even among the children, Pastor Bosse now says, Perez, you are the pastor or you are the leader of the children, because you are the senior, you are the most senior. So he takes responsibility for, when the children wake up, or to make sure that they make their beds, to make sure that they do their food packs, to make sure that they get their books ready and they do their assignments. So this is leadership. This is an example of leadership, teaching him to be a leader to his sisters. Now, the question or the challenge might be that, Kinigi Idut, the challenge might be that if Perez does not wake up, if he doesn't wake up, how will he be able to control if his siblings are waking up on time or not? So you will not be able to be a leader, an effective leader, if you yourself, you don't have self-leadership. So for Perez to be able to be a good leader to his siblings, he needed to, first of all, be a good leader to himself. He needed to, first of all, exercise self-leadership. So if Perez wakes up, then he will be able to check and control if the other if the other siblings of his are woken up, and to be able to instruct them to wake up on time. If Perez doesn't, remember to brush his teeth, there is no way he will now be able to monitor if the siblings are brushing their teeth or not. If Perez doesn't pack his school bag and his food basket and everything, if he doesn't take care of that, there is no way he will be able to remember to do the same thing with his brethren. So especially when he didn't wake up in the morning, there's no way he could go ahead to make sure that people wake up in the morning. So self-leadership is the key to every leadership. If you really want to be an effective leader, to really be good and effective leader, you need to have self-leadership. Real leadership starts with self-leadership. And self-leadership is the place whereby you are able to take responsibility for yourself. You are able to take responsibility for what you do, for your decisions. So the first thing I mentioned is that some of us, we didn't get that self-leadership from our parents, because our parents are supposed to give us that self-leadership. And if we miss it there, if you ended up being helped out by your siblings or your parents and you never became independent, then in life you would struggle. Because, for example, if you are used to your mother coming to your rescue, if you are not used to doing your own assignment or homework by yourself, and your parents or your siblings always do them for you, then what will happen is that you discover that in life you would not be ready to take up on responsibilities and be able to pass through the test and challenges of life. But you will always be looking out for somebody else to help you. And that is why one of the reasons why a lot of people think that they would never become successful if they don't become married. So some people are looking for married partner because they need somebody to come and do their chores for them. Or some people want to be married because they want a man to take responsibility for their expenses. So these are all delusions or all failures coming from not being self leader from when they were growing up. They are not used to being self-leaders. So in life, they will always be looking for one way or the other. And this also might have influenced the reason why some people are more some people are more entrepreneurship than others. So if you are having self-leadership from your childhood, then you will not have any problem with starting your own business, or you will not even need to be looking for jobs. But most people who are looking for jobs is because they are used to the fact that since they were growing up, somebody has to give them something. But when you have been used to doing everything yourself, when you've been given or trained in self-leadership from when you are small, when you grow up, you will not be looking for a job. You will not look to finish university and be looking for somebody to employ you. You will be ready to go ahead and make way for yourself because you are used to taking responsibility for your life. So one of the reasons why adults grow up and they don't have this self-leadership that we are talking about is because there was a default when they were growing up with their parents. The parents, they were over-reliant on their parents or on their family members. Their parents did not succeed in teaching them self-leadership or in making them self-sufficient, in taking responsibility for their lives from when they were young. So now that they did not perfect that act in their homes, when they now grow up, it will become a challenge. That is one of the problems why we don't attain self-leadership in life later on. We'll be struggling through life and we'll not know that it's coming from our childhood. Now, the other reason why we fail to have self-leadership is because most of the time when we go to school, schools also supposed to help us to have self-leadership, because in school, the whole idea is for you to be able to learn independence and to be able to work on yourself. But when you fail in school to be self-sufficient, to take responsibility for yourself, and somebody is always helping you out, and that will also affect you when you grow up and when you meet real life. Because in real life, nobody's going to wait for you. Nobody's going to pity you. Nobody's going to be there trying to resolve your issues for you. You've got to resolve your own issue by yourself. So self-leadership also could be developed in school environment. And this is why these old systems are set up in such a way that you'll be able to grow up and be able to face life and be able to cope with life. But when you fail to learn self-leadership in families, when you fail to learn self-leadership in school system, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to be successful in real life. So those are some of the reasons why a lot of people lack self-leadership when they are adults. Unfortunately, there is another factor that leads to lack of self-leadership in grown-up people, and this factor is religion. In a lot of religious homes and religious societies, you are told that God is in control of everything, that God has to do everything. Just pray. God will help you to pass exams. God will help fix your country. God will do this. God will do that, and that might never happen, because a lot of the areas where we're asking God to come and fix our problems for us, He actually expects us to fix those problems by ourselves. So when you go to or you belong to a society, or you come from a nation where everything is religion and religious, where they're always telling you, go and pray about it, or go and wait for God to tell you something. Oh, okay, go. That's one of the big reasons why unbelievers are more successful than Christians. In a lot of areas, unbelievers are more successful. And the reason why they are more successful is because they are not waiting for anything. They are not waiting to hear from God or to have confirmation. They are not waiting to hear if it's the will of God or it's not the will of God. They are not waiting to pray that, okay, God will fix it for them. God will answer their prayers. They take responsibility for life. They go and act out what they needed to do. And that's why it works out for them. While we are still waiting, or while we are still expecting God to do something for us, they are actually going forward and doing it for themselves. So that is what we call self-leadership. And religion could hamper self-leadership sometimes. Religion could stand on the way of self-leadership. Religion could stand on the way of self-leadership. So if you want to be able to not just manage your own life later on in life and be able to be successful self-manager, you must also be able, but you also want to be able to be a good leader in society. You want to be a good, successful leader. It has to start with self-leadership. You've got to start with yourself. It has to start with self-leadership. Well, so the greatest victory a leader must win, the greatest victory you could have in your life as an individual, is this thing that we're talking about today, is the victory over self. And it is manifested in you being able to be your own leader. It's manifested in you being able to have self-leadership over yourself and over your life. So your greatest victory as a leader should be to get the mastery over yourself. That there are other ways, other reasons why, even when you don't have much you didn't have much problem from your parents or from your upbringing or in your school or with religion, there is another reason why we struggle with self-leadership. The reason is that a lot of us, not a lot of us, but all of us, really, all humans, we are carnal. And what that means, that we are carnal, is that we live in the flesh, we live in the body. And as long as we are living in the body, the limitations of the body sometimes could stand on our way to self-governance and to self-leadership. Because, for example, why is it that you want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but you don't end up waking up in the morning? Like right now, I am, I'm doing this live broadcast. You want to do your live broadcast on daily basis, every day. You want to come out every day, and it doesn't. You think you are tired, or there are situations or circumstances that doesn't make you, that you think you cannot make it. Maybe you do for a few days and then you give up. Why that? It has because we are flesh. And in the flesh, the carnal nature of man sometimes takes the upper hand. So to self-leadership is to be able to subdue your carnal nature, the dominion of your flesh, the dominion and the supremacy of your flesh over you, to be able to put it under your leadership. So self-leadership is the ability to make your inner man, your real person, your personality, your real Sunday at Elijah, to be over your desires, or to be over your flesh, to be able to be in charge of your life, so much that you make your flesh, or your flesh, to obey what your spirit says. So it is when you make your spirit man to be more powerful than your flesh. For most people, they don't even know how to make that transition. For most people, they only do what their flesh wants them to do. Because it is your flesh that wants to eat, and your flesh always wants to eat. So but it takes self-leadership to be able to say, no, I'm not going to eat this week. I'm not going to eat today. I'm going to fast, and I'm going to put myself in control. I'm going to subject my body to myself, to my discipline, to the order of fasting. So that is what we call self-leadership. The ability to be able to be in charge and be over the dictates of the flesh. For example, you are a married person, but you see a lot of beautiful ladies all around you, and they are all beautiful, they are all nice, and you feel like being with every one of them. Well, why is it that you stop doing that? Why is it that you don't do that? It's because of self-leadership. Self-leadership, we have to instruct you to say, no, I'm married, so there's no way I will be sleeping about with all these other young ladies because they are not my wife. They are somebody else's wife. Well, it's not easy to do that if you don't have self-leadership. So it takes self-leadership for you to be able to say, no, I'm going to put myself, my body, under subjection of the principles that I know to be right, of the truth that I know to be right. So your flesh and the carnal nature is one of the reasons why we don't have self-leadership. For example, a lot of people think that they are unlucky in one area or the other, that things are not working out for them, that they are not lucky. And the reason why they say this is because, they have not been exercising enough self-leadership over themselves. They have not been disciplining themselves enough. They have not been putting themselves under subjection. So, for example, why is it that people say they are not lucky? It's because things don't work out for them. And there is a quotation, I forgot who said it, that it said, I discovered that I'm always unlucky when I've not put enough efforts. But when I begin to work for 18 hours a day, and I'm consistently working 18 hours every day, I discover that I begin to get lucky. I begin to be lucky. So you begin to be lucky, not because of luck or some mysterious forces that are making you to be lucky or unlucky, but you begin to be lucky because you work hard for it, because you follow the principles of hard work. So it's not because you are lucky, it's because you exercise self-discipline, you exercise self-leadership, and that self-leadership led you to success and led you to good results. And so that's what we call lucky. So what I'm saying is a lot of people exercise lack of luck or bad luck, as they say, or ill luck, because they don't exercise self-leadership. Once self-leadership is in place, you begin to discover that everything works out for you, that you are lucky all the time, that things work out for you. You are not dependent on luck anymore. You are no more dependent on circumstances or situations. Everything seems to be working smoothly because you have exercised self-leadership over your flesh. You have put, your spirit man, your principles, the right thing to do, you have put it over and above the desire to just, relax and to be lazy or to be indolent. So it is the ability to subdue that flesh, that carnal nature, the ability to put your body under subjection of your spirit man, of your personality, is what gives you success. So a lot of people are not successful over themselves and in their lives, talk less of leading other people, because they don't have this self-leadership that we are talking about. They are not able to be able to tell themselves, no, I'm going to work for as long as necessary. I'm going to work for 18 hours a day if necessary. I'm going to work around the clock. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to rest. I'm not going to look at tiredness. I am going to do as much as possible. That's why, they encounter situations and they begin to run from one church to the other, thinking that it's of Satan or demons that are after them, because they just need to exercise more of self-leadership. And the same thing we see when it comes to other areas of life. if you really, self-discipline, self-development, self-education, those things take self-management. They say self-leadership. So only those people who have self-leadership will be able to put themselves under the discipline of self-development or education. Because nobody will be there to manage you, nobody will be there to control you. You have to be able to, exercise leadership over yourself and go ahead to do what you need to do. So this is what we are going to be talking about. That this is your greatest your greatest leadership. The greatest leadership that you could exercise is the leadership that you exercise over yourself. The leadership that you exercise over yourself. So I think I'm going to read a scripture before I finish. Proverbs 25:28. Proverbs 25:28 confirms this. Proverbs 25:28. Yeah, Proverbs 25:28 says, whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. So this is talking about if the man is not the body, right? You are the spirit. Man is a spirit. So you have to be in charge. Your spirit you have to be in charge of your spirit man, so that your spirit man now rules over your mind, it rules over your intellect, it rules over your body, your flesh, your carnal nature. But when you lose it, when your spirit, you have not strengthened your spirit man to be strong enough to rule over and to be on top of your carnal nature, what will happen is that you will no more be in charge of your spirit man. Your spirit man will be under the dominion of the carnal nature. Your spirit man will be under the dominion of your flesh. Your spirit man will be under the dominion of your mind, of your reasoning, of your thoughts. And that is where a lot of people are. Their spirit man is somewhere there, forgotten, damping under the barrage of thoughts that are coming to them, and they are not strong enough. They have not strengthened their spirit man to be able to put their thoughts under subjection, under control, or maybe it's under the influence of their carnal nature, and they are not disciplined their spirit man to be on top and to be able to give command to their flesh and to their thoughts, and that's because they lack self-leadership. So this particular passage here, Proverbs 25:28, is a passage that talks about self-leadership. Whoever has no rule, that's no leadership over his own spirit. So it's talking about self-leadership. You must have leadership over your own spirit. Then everything will be broken down. You'll be, broken down like walls that are broken down. And if walls around the city, like the fort, are broken down, then anybody could just walk in. It's like a house that doesn't have a wall. You just have some pillars, and everybody can just walk in at any time. That's how it is when you don't have self-leadership. So that's one of the greatest things you will do. So this is the second. This is another aspect of the leadership series that I wanted to do, and I'm starting this particular session today, and I'm going to continue it for a few days. We're going to be talking about this self-leadership. It's the greatest leadership that you could get. So I think I made a point today, and I would like to encourage you to go ahead and share this message with your friends and family members. Share, and tag the people that you care about. And I also would like to ask you to go ahead and send the message to the inboxes of your friends, and maybe it could be of a blessing to them. I would also like to invite you to join our mentorship program, which is on sundaydelajablog.com/mentorship. sundaydelajablog.com/mentorship is for free, so be free to go and join that. And we also have HMT, History Makers Training, that comes up here in Ukraine, throughout the year. So if you want to join the next HMT, please write to hmt@godembassy.org. hmt@godembassy.org. So, and tell us when, that you would like to participate, and we'll give you all the information. Also, if you want to be receiving our messages on your WhatsApp, just send us your WhatsApp number. You see the number, our WhatsApp number on the screen right now. Just write it down. And if you want your friends and family members to be receiving our messages, we'll be sending you these messages on daily basis for free. Yep. And for my books, you can read my books for free also on Kindle Unlimited if you are registered on Kindle Unlimited, or you can buy them on Amazon or Okada Books. But if you want to buy in bulk and you want to buy them cheaper than on Amazon, then you might need to write to our office. You need to write to our office and ask for the books. dsasbooks@gmail.com. 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 It will be cheaper than on Amazon. So that will be it for today. And I will have to let you go. I will see you tomorrow. Peace. Sandra, yes, any changes that you think history makers have really affected in your life?
There has been a great change in my life, because as well as I also had a lot of limitations, but I had faith in God and I know there is great things that God wanted me to accomplish. But then I had one barrier, and that is because I didn't have much education. So what I would do is that as for prayer, I know I can pray, so I would pray and then God will move. But getting me to go and do it, I don't see a way where I can do anything. But when I came to History Makers, you made me know that life is predictable. And you also helped me to know, like you're saying now, that if I can change my mindset, I can do anything. God can use foolish things to confine the wise.
Right. That's right.
I remember that word you said. And so that was my breakthrough right there. Because if you didn't reject me, then I know that it's possible that something can come out of me.
Because God has accepted you,
yes,
and God is not rejecting you.
Yes, because you didn't say, no, this one I can't do nothing with her. But you rather said it will work. You said, forget about the school and you just follow the training. And
how much
see
education
what
do you say you have?
I had 8 years in my life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, and then in fact, Europe here, it means I have to face professionals, and so I didn't know how to do it.
Graduates.
Yeah, but then you gave me that assurance, and then with all the things that I learned here, when I went back, I really took it serious, because I was sure that something good can come out. And when I went back to Belgium, I invited, after my retreat, because we had assignments, and one of it was to do a retreat, to have some time with God, and I did. So after the retreat, I invited 6 people that I know. 2 of them were pastors, and they came. And so they also brought other people with them.
Wow.
And I had put together everything. And my passion was more to let the Christians know that they have a calling. And that's the ones I saw here is not what I'm seeing in other churches. That these people are reaching out instead of sitting inside the church. They are really rather going out to preach the gospel, like Jesus said. And I could see the difference it's making in the life of people here. And so I went to introduce to them that they are salt on the earth, and that they shouldn't lose their taste. And I also explained them why it's not good to sit inside the church. So they believed it, and they started bringing people, even Belgian people started coming. So right now I'm having about 24 people that I'm training. God is doing wonderful things, you know. And so this training has really changed my life.
From being just are you a housewife or just a single mother?
Yeah, I'm just a mother of 2. And yeah, now I'm standing before professionals and I'm teaching them, and we have had our history makers training. 19 people showed up, and yeah, God is doing great things, and I know it's always because
Are they
of the
looking?
history.
Are they seeing some changes in you?
Yes, indeed. They are seeing changes in me. My children are doing that, and also even the people that are coming to the meeting, they see that there is something different going on in my life. I'm more bold than I should be, and also I myself have also seen the change, because I now have more compassion and passion for people, for the world, you know, like the poor people, the drug addicts, and the homeless people, and we are planning to go and help them out.
Even though you are not a pastor, you are not an ordained minister,
No.
but just by coming here
Yes.
and going through this training,
Yes.
do you think it's the training that has changed you like that?
Oh
That has
yeah,
helped you?
sure. It's the training that has changed me, because I wouldn't dare do what I'm doing now if I hadn't been to the training.
Even though you were a Christian before now.
Even though I was Christian, but I was also part of, we were all inside the church. We were all sitting in the church, you know, and we were not allowed to do anything out of our own. You can't have a vision that you want to pursue. You have to follow the vision of the leaders. I mean, you have to be part of their vision, you know. So even though I'm not a pastor or anything, but God is using me to reach people.
And even pastors now are coming to you.
Yes, pastors are coming to me, or even calling me for counseling sometimes. Yes.
But even though we are not against being a member of the church, I'm a pastor myself, and you still go to church. But as a member of the church, you could still pursue your passion.
I could still pursue.
And your dream.
Yes, indeed. I could still pursue my passion and my dreams, and so freely, without being feeling that I'm
without any guilt.
Without any guilt. Yeah, I'm not guilty at all, because the things you are teaching us is coming straight from the Bible. This is what God wants us to do. He wants us to go out there and redeem the world. So
yes, bring relevance.
yes.
Add value.
Yes.
Bring redemption, not just to your family, not just to yourself, but to the world.
Yes.
Bring relevance, not just to your church members, but to everybody you meet.
Yes. And even right now, we are about to start a soup kitchen in our community for the poor, because we still find out that there are some Roma people in my city who are having...
These are gypsies, right?
Yeah, yes, the gypsies. So we are planning to reach out to them and give them a hot meal in a day, and also help them to develop values, you know, and help them come out of that poverty situation.
Yeah. But also, now, your husband is helping you?
My husband is not a believer, but...
Is he helping you in all this?
Yeah, somehow.
Not so much,
Not
right?
so much,
Okay,
no.
what about you? Your husband is helping you?
Not really.
Not so much. Okay. Now, you people who are just housewives, most people who are housewives and have kids, you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids.
I have to.
They want to think sometimes that that's the only thing we are capable of doing. As you know, just as housewives, the only thing we are capable of doing is just to take care of the children, right? But talking about bringing transformation and changing the world, people say, well, you know, there's no time. Where will I put the children? You know, how will I send them to school? Who will be with them? Who will sit with them? Where will I get the money? My husband will not help me to do that. He will ask me, where did the money go? And all this. All kinds of questions. How did you overcome that? Because if you are going to be thinking about that, like the Bible says that if you are going to look at the weather, you will not go to plant, you will not go to sow.
It's true.
And if you are going to be thinking about all these challenges, you'll be so scared to even do anything. How the ladies who are watching will be saying, how did you girls are able to come out of that vicious circle of just trying to care for the husband, trying to care for the children, and you never really have time for yourself. Talk less of for others, and talk less of for God's calling. How were you able to break that vicious circle? This put up for two
all
of
right. That's for me. What broke the vicious cycle for me is the training, because you at the point where you know what you don't know before.
Okay.
It not only liberates you, it empowers you. So the empowerment came from having that understanding what it is that we are here on this earth for, because I was thinking the same line that you were thinking, like that you mentioned, like just like every other woman. But I came to realize that we are made in God's image, we're made in God's likeness. The likeness of God is that He is at work. You know, the likeness of God means that we can have dominion over the face of this earth, have dominion over a sphere.
Even over all these little problems that hold us down.
Yes, we can actually rise above it. So having that knowledge, to be honest, you can't get it from anywhere else. I'm sure about that, because I haven't heard it in my life.
And you've been a Christian for how long? Before this, before you came across?
Before this, I became a committed Christian from 1993.
So you've been around for some time.
From 1993, committed, and I have not heard it. I actually have been in 4 denominations, so
you've seen it all.
I'm a guru.
You know what church is.
Yeah.
If you have been watching our videos and maybe you enjoy them, maybe you don't enjoy them, but still, we need you to help us spread the word. And for that to happen, we only need you to take 5 little steps. Please help us spread this word by liking the video. Then, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We also need you to press the notification button. And the way to do that is to click on the bell. You see the bell there? Click on it. Then, of course, leave your comments. Let's know what you're thinking about each video. And finally, we need you to go and share the word. Share this video on your Facebook timeline, on your Instagram, and every other platform that you have. All right? Let's win the world for Christ. Thank you so much. Peace.